Dear children, Class 10 History, Chapter 3 Nationalism in India, Part 4. Now we are going to learn about the limits of the civil disobedience movement. Which all groups were not part of the civil disobedience movement? Let's see. Not all social groups were moved by the abstract concept of Swaraj. Many were reluctant in participating in the national struggle. One such group was the untouchables. Mahatma Gandhi declared that Swaraj would not come for 100 years if untouchability was not eliminated. Now let's see Gandhiji's service to the untouchables. He himself cleaned toilets to dignify the work of the Bangi, that is the sweepers, and persuaded the upper caste to change their heart and give up the sin of untouchability. He called the untouchables Harijans, or the children of God. He organized satyagraha to secure them entry into temples and access to public wells, tanks, roads and schools. But many Dalit leaders were keen on a different political solution to the problems of their community. Political empowerment, they believed, would resolve the problems of their social disabilities. Now let's see Pune Pact. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who organized the Dalits into the Depressed Classes Association in 1930, clashed with Mahatma Gandhi at the Second Roundtable Conference by demanding separate electorates for Dalits. When the British government conceded Ambedkar's demand for separate electorate, Gandhiji began a fast unto death. He believed that separate electorates for Dalits would slow down the process of their integration into the society. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar ultimately accepted Gandhiji's position, Gandhiji's view, and the result was the Pune Pact of September 1932. It gave the depressed classes reserved seats in the provincial and central legislative councils, but they were to be voted by the general electorate. The sense of collective identity means nationalism. The feeling of nationalism, how it was created through figures, images, icons, symbols, songs, folklore, etc. In the 20th century, with the growth of nationalism, the identity of India came to be visually associated with the image of Bharat Mata, and it was first created by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. In the 1870s, he wrote Vande Mataram as a hymn to the motherland. Vande Mataram was sung during the Swadeshi Movement in Bengal. Moved by the Swadeshi Movement, Abanindranath Tagore painted his famous image of Bharat Mata. In this painting, Bharat Mata is portrayed as an ascetic figure. She is calm, composed, divine and spiritual. In subsequent years, the image of Bharat Mata acquired many different forms, but devotion to this mother figure came to be seen as evidence of one's nationalism. Bharat Mata painted by Abanindranath Tagore. Indian folklore. In the late 19th century India, nationalists began recording folk tales sung by bards, and they toured villages to gather folk songs and legends. These tales, they believed, gave a true picture of traditional culture that had been corrupted and damaged by outside or foreign forces. In Bengal, Rabindranath Tagore himself began collecting ballads, nursery rhymes and myths, and led the movement for folk revival. In Madras, Nadesha Shastri published a massive 4-volume collection of Tamil folk tales. He believed that folklore was national literature. It was the most trustworthy manifestation of people's real thoughts and characteristics. As the national movement developed, nationalist leaders became more and more aware of such icons and symbols in unifying people and inspiring in them a feeling of nationalism. Icons and symbols. During the Swadeshi movement in Bengal, a tricolor flag, that is, red, green, and yellow, was designed with 8 lotus representing 8 provinces of British India and a crescent moon representing Hindus and Muslims. By 1921, Gandhiji had designed the Swaraj flag, again a tricolor, red, green, and white, and had a spinning wheel in the center, representing the Gandhian ideal of self-help. Carrying the flag, holding it aloft during the marches became a symbol of defiance. Next one, reinterpretation of history. Another means of creating a feeling of nationalism was through reinterpretation of history. By the end of the 19th century, many Indians began feeling that to instill a sense of pride in the nation, Indian history had to be thought about differently. The British saw Indians as backward and primitive, incapable of governing themselves. In response, Indians began looking into the past to discover India's great achievements. They wrote about the glorious developments in ancient times when art, architecture, science, mathematics, religion, culture, law, philosophy, crafts, and trade had flourished. This glorious time was followed by a history of decline when India was colonized. These nationalist historians urged the readers to take pride in India's great achievements in the past and struggle to change the miserable conditions of life under the British rule.